Thanks very much for having me. It's the hope is to share with you a little bit about our organization and also talk about the events that we host it's all about spreading repair culture. Um, so we do that by hosting events where volunteers fix people's broken household items for free. We have repair education classes, like how to rewire a lamp, how to fix a fan, that kind of thing. And then we also are working on building up the repair economy, and we're doing that with vouchers and trying to reduce the barriers for folks to get their items fixed. Because a lot of times when things break, it's usually a simple fix, and oftentimes people don't think about repairing it first. They think about just throwing it away. And it's unfortunate because I would say probably about 60% of the items really can stay in use. And so our goal is to not only build awareness and try and shift the culture around repair, but also offer opportunities for people to get their stuff fixed for free. Because one of the biggest barriers is the cost of repair. And so the kinds of things that we repair are small appliances like toasters, paper shredders, fans, lots of toasters, get a lot of toasters, air fryers. And then we do sewing, so sewing and mending, and then we do bike repair and tool and knife sharpening. And oftentimes, whatever we offer at our events is what our volunteers have the skills for. So I wanted to share with you a little bit more in depth about the events. And the reason why I'm coming to you all today is because I've been talking with Alex, who's one of our repair volunteers who lives in Woodstock. He was going to join us tonight, but something came up last minute. He is one of our small appliance fixers and would like to see something like this come to your neighborhood. And my hope for all of this is to decentralize what we do, because there really isn't, it's such a simple concept. I don't know if you all have heard of repaircafe.org or repaircafe.com, but if you go to that, you'll see that these kind of events were actually started in the Netherlands. And since then, folks all over the world have taken on organizing events in their area. So I just took it on to start organizing these events in Portland. But what's challenging, so we've been doing this for the last 10 years. And what's challenging is that we've built up such a big community now that we're a little bit of a bottleneck in that a lot of folks have a lot of things to be repaired, but we only do things monthly because that's kind of all we have capacity for. And what would be ideal and really exciting is if we had little events all over the city. And all it really takes is a space and volunteers who love fixing things. Like we, over the years, have developed a process, and we've developed certain things that have made the events run more smoothly. But in reality, when I first visited an event, it was at a community center with 2 volunteers, one person doing sewing and one sitting at the table with a couple of screwdrivers. And so my hope is to find folks who are willing to take on organizing it with our support, because I get a lot of joy out of it. And it's not just about fixing things, it's also about building community, because we ask folks to stay with their item as they're getting fixed. So we have somebody who's sewing a pair of pants and the person is sitting across the table from them and they're talking about where they're from and if they have kids, and they're talking about the item and the story of the item and things like that. So, and also previously before COVID, we fed people too. We had food and coffee and things, and we might get back to that too, but those elements just allow folks to connect. And because the volunteers love it, you can really feel the sense of joy and the sense of community that are a part of the events. So I wanted to see if anybody had questions. I'm happy to talk more about it. I'm also curious. I heard somebody earlier say they had capacity and were excited to start doing things.
Anything, and would need to come to the event.
Right, but that's the thing is like, there are we have a volunteer list of over 350 people. Okay, granted, that's been cultivated over the last 10 years, but what I'm trying to say is like, there's no shortage of people who love to do this. And I think people have a fear that you need to be an expert, and you really don't. You have to be able to say yes or no to the things that are within your scope or your capacity and skill set. But and I'm also happy to share our volunteers with folks. I think the tricky thing is just having somebody who wants to take, or a handful. It's actually, when we first started, there was a group of 4 of us that took on organizing the events. And really it's just a matter of like finding a space, getting tables and chairs, getting a few extension cords, making sure that the space has enough light, and then advertising that it's happening, and then get a few folks, a few volunteers. But even if you don't have a few volunteers, I have plenty of volunteers that would be more than excited to come help start a new event.
Well, we probably can figure out if we can find a spot here in the center. So is the ask, just for clarification, the ask is the space and also someone to organize an event. Maybe we get some people that can volunteer their time to fix stuff, but you guys have a lot of, like, a roster of volunteers or something.
Yeah, I mean, the goal, yeah, the ask is, well, so I already talked with Elizabeth, and Alex was there, and so
Gail.
person, and Gail, yeah, the person who
Yeah.
runs works for Parks and Rec. And she said that, that the community center is available for that kind of thing. So what's exciting is that you already have the space, and it's a beautiful, perfect space for it. And Alex, who's one of our fixers, is really excited to have it in his own neighborhood. And he would want to be one of the folks who are volunteering. So I guess the hope is to see if anybody that either you or maybe somebody that you know, like it doesn't necessarily have to be you. If there's a group of folks that would be willing to organize an event, then we could support you all in doing that.
So, I mean, you have a workshop coming to the community center this month, right?
We have a repair cafe in our space on October 26th, but we don't have anything organized in your space.
Oh, that was my understanding.
Well, it takes more time in organizing, but can you say where your space is, Lauren, so people will maybe be able to even visit it and see how it works?
Yeah, our space is in Southeast on 11th, in between Stark and Oak. And I think we had tentatively set a date just to kind of put something out there. But I don't think we had confirmed anything. It was kind of one of those, let's just set a date and hope that it happens, but we didn't have anybody organizing it.
Oh, okay. So my suggestion would be we should probably work with that person who is already in our Woodstock neighborhood and organize one event here at the community center.
Yeah, see, the thing is, he doesn't want to be the organizer. He just wants to fix things.
I see, but maybe we can talk and see if there's a very easy way of helping with that organizing.
Right. That's why we came to this meeting.
Yes. Okay, now I get it.
So really the ask is they want an organizer to organize a repair cafe in the community center, which it sounds like Gail and the Friends group have already signed off on using the space for. So we just need to find someone that wants to organize that type of thing.
So this is getting closer and closer to having somebody who's an event organizer that we used to have we had a position, right, for
Yes.
the
We had an events committee.
events committee. And so, as we get back into post-COVID life and people are wanting to do things and get involved, maybe that's something we want to revisit. I don't know.
Yes.
It's a thought.
Yeah. Well, there is currently an open board.
There is,
Sorry.
Well, let me ask
Yeah.
you, I mean, I know I used to be on my neighborhood board and I understand that folks can be at capacity. But can you think of anybody in your community or your networks that might be interested?
Potentially, for sure. Yeah, I think it's something that we need to send out, to the folks that get our monthly newsletter and see if we can maybe get some interest going that way. And see if we can get somebody that would be willing to coordinate an event in the neighborhood specifically.
Yeah. So that's why I think it would be helpful for me to be in touch with your repair volunteer. On what's actually needed for that organization, because it doesn't sound too dramatic to organize. So I think that should be possible to find someone within our reach. And I think it would be important to have one initial meeting that we can distribute through our newsletter and to other ways of communication. And I'm pretty sure that we will find a relatively stable group who might get really interested in it.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. And if it's a handful of folks too, even better, because I know it can be hard when it's just one person.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. You're also, it's all the heavy load is on you, all the mental load, all the, stamina. So, Elizabeth?
I wonder if we could make a very simple flyer, basic information, asking if there are people and put them in. We have 5 churches in the neighborhood. We have some nonprofits plus us, and hang them up around and see what kind of response we get. And elementary schools. We have 2 elementary schools. Those parents are quite busy, but it's a possibility to find somebody through a flyer.
Yeah. That's
Not
a good idea.
everybody. Okay, so let me think about a flyer. I am not a flyer making person, but Lauren and I could Lauren, would that be okay? We could just put together something on a 8.5 by 11 on the computer, and then you could hone it and we could get it done.
Totally. Yeah, I'm happy to support you all in whatever way I can.
Pardon
Well,
me?
and also, if we could have some sort of, blurb of kind of what the responsibility of the organizer would look like.
Yes.
That way you can get that to Silka and Silka can get it on social media and in the newsletter, et cetera. That would be super helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guess at what that might include,
Because I was already so excited that we have this event here.
4 or 5
And-
bullet points, maybe suggesting or putting out what needs to be done to organize one. Or
Yeah.
you've done this for 10 years.
Mhm.
We could collaborate.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be.
And they need to know what they would be responsible for. If we've already gotten permission to have it here, that's a huge lift that's already taken care of. So you say we've already secured a place. But here's the other, duties that you would have in order of organizing this. And people want to know what they're signing up for. And then it's a one-time thing in terms of the event. And then whether they want to do something ongoing.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
What's your experience? Is it better to do some of those workshops over the weekend on one of those days, or could that also be like evening, afternoon, during the week activity?
We've done
So
both.
those-
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be kind of a question, what could work in which spaces, when people are available.
Yep, absolutely. I feel like it kind of just depends on the community and what works best for you all.
Yeah. Okay, so Elizabeth and Lauren, you are going to talk a little bit more, put a little flyer bullet points together and then we see how we can push this, because I'm really all for it, honestly.
I love it.
I grew up in a culture where repairing things was really important.
Yeah, I know, yeah, many people do, yeah. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people really don't like throwing things away, they just don't know that there's an alternative.
Yeah,
So
so let's keep going that.
if
Yeah,
you do want to come to our event, you're more than welcome to see how it goes and kind
The
of get.
date and time again on, and the address, exact address for people to put into GPS.
I'll put it in the chat too, but it's
Oh, yeah.
417 Southeast 11th, Portland.
Mhm.
yeah, if you can put that in the chat, then it gets into our minutes.
I see the chat.
No, it will. It will be. Yeah. Okay, so, with that, thank you so much for bringing this.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving me time.
As long as there's that.
Right, looks like. we're nice.
That's so much excitement about cookies here.
So send a that.
Okay, so we should move on if you don't have anything further to share with us. Then I would say we move on to our next presenter.
That was really great. Thanks for giving me time to chat with you all. It was great to meet you.
Yeah, thank you for coming. This was really great. Thank you.
So Lauren, to find the date and time, is it on the website or can you say again? You said it.
It's on the website. I just put it in the chat, but it's October 26th from 6 to 8 p.m.
Oh, this 26th. Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah.
Feel
yeah.
free to bring things that are broken also.
Oh, okay.
Have a good night.
Okay.